my college, my dream, my life. 안녕하세요, 여러분. MICC의 미리입니다. 자, 오늘 또한 아이제이아 컨설턴트 분하고 또 한 번 이렇게 얘기를 할 수 있는 기회를 접했는데요. 저희가 오늘은 액티비티 그리고 extracurricular에 관한 얘기를 좀 더 나눠보려고 해요. 저번 비디오처럼 그리고 저희가 영어로 진행을 또 해보도록 할게요. So, all right, Isaiah. So, for those who's the first time entering this video, would you mind introducing you to us again one more time?
Yeah, so my name is Isaiah Yim, and I'm currently a PhD student at Yale University, and I'm studying biomedical engineering. And I have a bachelor's degree in chemistry from the University of Michigan. I have worked with high school students all throughout my post-high school years.
Awesome. So he's one of our main consultants in the MICC. So we're really excited to introduce Isaiah to you guys. Now the theme of this video is about activities and the extracurriculars. Last time we talked about what exactly is chemistry and the biomedical engineering major. Now we want to talk about what you really should do to really frame your interest about this major. So in order to pursue the chemistry and the biomedical engineering, what kind of extracurricular do you suggest for students to do?
Definitely, you'd want to be like an expert or at least accelerated in the math and sciences and as much as possible. First of all, you want to fill your summers with activities, not just cram school, hagwon, anything like that. You want to go to accredited programs. There might be some in your area, and there are definitely some in well-known universities. There's one at Yale, but I personally went to in New York City. It was free, but it offered college credits. And so I was basically taking Calculus 4 in high school, which was differential equations. So that really had me geared up for the labor-intensive courses in sciences, because you can't just jump into science not knowing any of the math. And so I would say get your math up to par. On top of that, you definitely want to engage people in the field, people who are maybe family friends. If you don't have access to professors, you know, not everyone has access to professors, but if you can talk to your professors or research professors who are even better and ask them if you can either shadow them or definitely read their papers and kind of know what they're studying, what they're doing research in. Aside from that, I think you should also become, a well-rounded person, because you're not going to be this walking calculator who knows all this math and science. You want to be a very bright, colorful student. So when I was in high school, I engaged in, music. I played the saxophone. I was in the jazz band. I also did sports. I played tennis, and I was on the fencing team. I even got an award for being, a scholar athlete. So
wow, with fencing.
Yeah. So in New York City, there's a channel called New York One, and there's a scholar athlete of the week. I got a scholarship through that. They look for people who are well-rounded, both in athletics and academics. You want to be on those mathematics, robotics teams, but then again, you want to round yourself out with community service. That will get you into college, and then the science and the math, that will make you accelerated and better prepared for those science majors.
Gotcha. So you mentioned a little bit about research. Mm-hmm. So would you lay out some of the steps, maybe like how students can approach professors, or how does a cold calling work?
Yeah, so now looking at high school students, that's becoming a very critical component of their applications, because it's becoming more mainstream. Yeah, these days, all types of high school students, they start research at an early age. They have to start somewhere. It's not like they have special connections. It starts by really doing some research, background research about some of these research professors. Really know what they're studying or what they're doing research in, and have questions. You got to email them. You got to contact them somehow. It's simple yet very challenging, because you got to know how to craft that letter. And even, someone that's a little more seasoned like me, I spend a good 30 to 45 minutes writing one nice email to someone who basically has control over my future, my next few years. It's a skill that one would have to develop. MyCC has services that will really help you with that, guide you, and I would be one of your instructors for that. I will help you craft a nice professional letter.
Yes, totally. So that's another, I guess, the follow-up question that I was actually preparing to ask. Like, the email that you send out to professors are really important because professors get a lot of emails in the inbox, and there's really no appealing reason for them to check your email even and to even reply back. Undergrad even, it's really difficult to secure a research spot, but as a high schooler, it's way, way, way more difficult. So do you have any utmost maybe one or two tips about the email draft?
There's one thing that people kind of overlook. It's the timing of the email. That's something that everyone can do. It depends on the professor, but if you were to send someone like me an email, I'm not an early morning person. So you don't want to send me an email at 7 or 8 a.m. I'm not going to open it. It's going to be under all these other emails, even from I get emails from Costco. Your email is going to be under Costco, and that's going to be sad. If you don't get a response from your first attempt, try a different time because maybe that professor is not an early bird. So I personally check my emails at around 10 o'clock in the morning. Since I'm a night owl, I would respond to emails at 11 p.m. But I think timing is one thing that you can really work with. And another piece of advice would be definitely the subject line. You don't want to make it a vague subject. You want to have a purpose behind that subject line. Make it really appealing, like high school student eager to be in your lab. You want to label yourself as high school student because that's very impressive. Someone at such an early age interested in research professors' work, that's not really common. So that really works towards your advantage, I would say. Yeah, professionalism, always check your grammar and spelling. At the first incident of a spelling error, I will stop reading your email. Yeah, always proofread your emails before you send them.
Very, very good point. So if you're watching this video and would need help on the research writing emails to professors, etc., Isaiah is here to help. Yeah, and some of your experience, Isaiah, was really interesting that you worked in the YYGS, which is a very popular summer program at Yale. Would you explain more about what your role there was?
Yeah, so I was a regional consultant for the main admissions officers for YYGS. Yale Young Global Scholars, it's in the name, it's a global program. Obviously, not everyone in that small group of admissions officers know the culture or the educational system in those respective countries that students are applying from. I do have some experience going to school in Japan. I have the language background in Korean, and I've also been to China. So I was one of the East Asian consultants, mainly Korea and Japan. And I was also a United States regional consultant for the East Coast because I went to school in New York City. My role was to pretty much validate the application and the transcripts from the Korean or Japanese version to the English version. I have to say there were some inconsistencies and some oddities that I caught on to.
So it's a very valuable experience to hear from. Do you have any idea about what kind of students should apply to this program, as this is a very competitive summer program?
Yeah, I mean, it's literally a pre-college program. So I would treat this as a college application. I've seen applications that are obviously their academics, they're top-notch, straight A's, but grades won't get you in. You have to have the extracurriculars. You have to have the community engagements. You have to have the great, perfect recommendation letters. Literally, you need to stand out in some special way because 99% of the time, there's someone who pretty much did the same thing you did. So you really need to go out of your way to find a special niche for yourself where you can be the one and only person who's done that. Just have that type of mentality when throughout high school.
Awesome. Thank you. Overall, in today's video, we shared about the activities that you should do if you're interested into pursuing chemistry or the biomedical engineering, as well as he shared about some of the research experiences and what you should do about, cold emailing. So thank you so much for all the information, Isaiah. And then again, we'll continue to our next video. Please tune in. Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right.